And hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Deliver Remote Data to Your Doorstep with SQL. During today's 30-minute presentation, you'll learn how SQL can access data locally, but also on other databases, including PCs. A little bit of an introduction here. I'm Mike Stegeman, be your host for today's webinar. I'm Senior Data Access Consultant, working with SQL software out of the Schaumburg, Illinois office. Schaumburg is outside of Chicago. And today we have another database expert joining us. Heath, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Sure thing, yeah. Hello, my name's Heath, Kath. I'm also a Senior Data Access Consultant with Help Systems, working for the SQL software out of the U.S. office, but I'm actually located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, where it's actually kind of gloomy out, but 45, really warm for this time of year. I've been working on the IBM data access for over 24 years, over 13 years with Help Systems, prior to that with IBM, and I'm very excited to show you how quick and simple it is to get started with SQL and to access that information.
Excellent. Sounds good, Heath. A little bit about SQL. SQL's been around for a long time, started way back in 1987, and since then we've grown to meet the needs of our users. So the product is continually growing and expanding, becoming more than just a data access tool. It's coming a lot more. And one of those needs is for quick and simple installation and solution that's easy to use. So we have the ability to let our users build powerful queries from a nice, easy GUI interface, and users can access that key information all from a browser within an hour, and that includes the remote, what we're going to be talking about today. Now, a little bit about housekeeping for today's session. If you do have any questions during the session, use that chat feature. Many of you used it for the sound check. Use that chat feature and send a message to all panelists. That way Heath and I will both see it, and we'll address those questions during the Q&A at the conclusion of the webinar. We're also recording the webinar, so we'll include a link in a follow-up email, usually within a day or so. Now, before I hand this over to Heath, I'm going to do a quick polling question. Aha, there's going to be work. You thought you could just sit and watch. So we're a little bit curious here. I want to read through the questions, and then remember to when you're finished, to press the submit button. What remote databases do you have, if any? Okay, so if you could take just a few minutes here and answer that. You see them listed there: SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, other DB2 databases. If you use anything in Access or Excel or something other. And if you do use other, use the chat feature again to let us know what. And if you're not sure, go ahead and click Not Sure. We're going to leave this open for just a few minutes so we can have an idea of the databases that folks are using here.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm seeing them coming in here, Mike. This is pretty great. I'll post the results here just a little bit, but yeah, this is great, folks. Appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. We are curious. We're curious of how we can help you guys out, and what and what databases you have out there, and so forth. And
we are a curious company. We do have once a year. I know Robin Tatum in the Power Tech side does a security survey thing, and Tom Huntington from the Power side does an IBM survey, and we get a lot of respondents, but it's very interesting to see their answers and see the groupings of what they have and what they feel. So this kind of goes along with that. It's a simple question, one question here. So, and I think the results are coming up. Excellent. So it looks like from the most here we got SQL Server. Microsoft SQL Server seems to be the highest, tied with DB2 database from our respondents. About half, almost half, just under half on both of those. And then
yeah, look at those three.
And Excel. Yep.
Yeah, Access and Excel right there among the top three. That's great, and I'm excited because the Access, Microsoft Access and Excel, that's something new with SQL, and it's great. Yep. Excellent. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Your homework is now finished. And sit back and watch Heath. Heath, the floor is yours.
All right. Perfect. All right. Thanks again. Thanks, Mike. As for agenda, in the next 20 minutes or so, you'll learn how SQL can unlock the challenges that you may have when trying to access remote data. SQL's capability to access data locally and remotely doesn't leave you feeling hopeless or in the dark. You actually will be able to access it and analyze the needed data, allowing you to make better business decisions. First thing, quick little overview of SQL. With SQL, It's a complete tool set. Use a single product like SQL that allows you to do most everything, from the creation to the distribution of information. You can create the views, which some people might call queries, do drill downs, pivot data, build custom reports, dashboards, and even see data in charts and so much more. SQL is a powerful tool, a viable solution for data access and distribution. Users are able to access data from a green screen, maybe it's from a command line, a menu option, or from a scheduled job. Also be able to access data from a browser or a mobile device. Let the users securely access local and remote data that they need when and how they need it. The SQL software, is a business informational type tool that's suitable for any types of business, any industries, education, banking, medical, distribution, you name it, or company size, small, medium, or large, that runs on the IBMI platform. Its strengths begin with the ease of installation, usually under an hour, like Mike said earlier. This, of course, leads to a faster return of investment. There is no need to build layers or cubes. However, if you choose to, SQL can access live data or warehouse data in the same manner. Empower the user. You have three interfaces available to empower your users. From a PC, a browser, a green screen, users can get their data. This gives you the flexibility in deploying the results as needed, the views, reports, tables, and SQL dashboards. Let the users get their information quickly from a shortcut that allows them to be prompted, to prompt for a certain date range or a customer number, all leading to increased productivity. Developers and IT staff also experience increased productivity. You do not need to spend days or weeks building a report. Users can build a custom report to fit their needs, including those runtime prompts, so you can actually run the same report another time or another day and get the data based on those needs. Select a different customer number or location, again, a different need, always allowing the user to see the information they need or really are asking for at that time. SQL began back in the System 38 quite some time ago and has grown to run on the power of the IBMI. This term, IBMI-centric. This just means that we have not lost the touch with the strengths of the IBMI, which is known for its stability, its security, and reliability. The IBMI doesn't crash or lock up like a Windows server does. And this webinar, our focus is the ability to access data on a remote database. We realize that in today's business, it is possible that organizations have other databases. Maybe it is a Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, and now with SQL, we can even access data from a Microsoft Access and even Microsoft Excel documents. The ability, the power that SQL gives you to be able to access your business data, the key information that will help you make better decisions. SQL can collect your remote data, allowing you to easily display, even email, export the data as a PC document from text, CSV, PDF, and even Excel. You can choose XLS or XLSX. From a scheduled job or on demand, from a PC or browser, the choice is yours. Next, I'm going to go quickly and explain the environment here and the remote databases that I'll be connecting to in just a little bit. In this scenario, we have an end user using SQL graphical user interface called Viewpoint right there on top, a web connection with SQL web interface, or they could be accessing the remote data from a green screen on the IBMI. Again, the choice is theirs. From the IBMI, they can make a connection to another system seamlessly, basically underneath the covers, and access the remote information. From this connection, they can pull data from the DB2 on a System I series. A mainframe or other servers running Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, DB2, or Unix, or Linux, or Windows. You get the idea, that we can connect to many of these different platforms. The capability is built right into the SQL software. This is our sample environment for today. From our local host system called Wisdom, we actually will be connected to 4 different databases. We will access a Microsoft SQL Server, a DB2, Oracle system, and even a PC server to access data from an Excel file. All right, time for a demonstration. Let me go ahead and get things set up here. And oh yeah, just a kind of quick note here. The remote access feature is enabled through the SQL software that runs on the host system I, to which Viewpoint is connected. All the remote database accesses are performed between the system I and the remote data server. There is no actual connection between the personal computer running Viewpoint and the remote system. Just to throw that out there really quickly. All right. Should be coming up. All right, so here we got the information come across here from Viewpoint, and what we see here is this is the graphical user interface to SQL. This allows you to access and to build a SQL object if you have the authority to do so. We have 3 tabs to work with in this graphical interface. Existing, it shows you the I series, the different databases or IBMIs. The Recent tab, the last handful of SQL objects that you've worked with or touched. And then the New tab to create the new objects, from the views to a table, to a report, even to a dashboard and more. We actually have nice widgets within here to help you create those objects if necessary. So I'm trying to make it really simple. Going back to my Existing tab, right now we're looking at all the different objects that start with IS, and we can see we have scripts, we have views with the M indicating multi-database, we have dashboards, and by the way, again, here's the all objects. You can actually do a subsetted list. So right now we're looking at all the IS objects, but all types, but if you wanted to, all the views. Really easy to navigate around. I can change this around or list all the objects, whatever I want to do. If I type in, let's see, let's go after RM and press enter. I don't have any objects with RM in that library, so let me quickly change that. Let's go after the GL objects. And there you go. There's a handful of objects out there. These actually are all, except for the bottom, are remote database type connections. So the GL Able, our Able company, it's a multi-platform type of view. And then, of course, the very bottom, the SQL view, which is a local view. Quick display of the results. You can set it. And by the way, this is a right click. These are the options. If I go into design, you can see what it looks like. This is the design of a view. We have 3 tabs to work with. Most commonly, folks work from the Files and Fields tab. You got the file, the table listed right there, along with all the fields or the columns. These are the selected fields, which allow you to really work and customize it. Able Corp on top there, if you notice where I'm pointing, this is the remote database that I'm connecting to. Just one way to verify or prove where I'm going. But you can also see within properties. Database, Able Corp 2005. This is our SQL server. We have some local databases right there on top, but then all the ones below it are defined as a remote database type connection. We have Academy, Addison. You can see there's a lot there. These are different remote systems I can connect to, and I have authority to do so. All right, jumping back out of there. All right, let's take a quick look here. By the way, you have some options for distribution. If you click on the display button, you can see that data really quickly. This here, again, is coming from our SQL server, not from the I. I went out there, this is again through the connection, able to see it. You can quickly save the results. So if you need to create and save the result or export it as an XLS, not a problem. Or maybe as a PDF, a text file, HTML, you name it. There's a lot of options. You can also export directly to Excel versus displaying it, or create a shortcut, making it really easy to navigate. You can also just click on the drop-down to also export it right to Excel, or do a save as to save the results, even to a file. Email is great. Able to email remote information out as you need it, when you need it. You can define the attachment name, even the type of attachment. You see all the different options there, from Excel to PDF to text. You let the users choose what they want. And by the way, you can, as you'll see here in just a little bit, I'm going to show you something here. You can easily schedule this too. We have OK on demand, but the schedule button. Being able to schedule this to run maybe every Monday or every month or whenever necessary to get that automated report sent to your inbox. So here it is Monday at 5 o'clock every week. And there you have it. So it's pretty simple to schedule it. We have robust schedule, or also you can use the IBM scheduler. It's one or the other, but not a problem. Let me cancel all there. I don't need to schedule it here today. And let me close this design window. So that was the GL Able 2. I went into design. You can also just do double left click to run it and see the information very quickly. Just to point out a few more things from a right click, you also have the option to export it directly, email it, etc. Here's the GL going to a different database. GL Cook is actually one of our Oracle systems, but it's really simple. As an end user, as you guys see there, you really don't see where it's connecting. It's all done underneath the covers. Next, I'm going to show you how to create a view from scratch and how to connect up to that different database when trying to build the view definition. So here's our design window again. We've got those 3 tabs. Like I said earlier, this is where most people create or work from is the SQL or the Files and Fields tab. And up on top there, the database *SQL, I'm still local yet. That's based on my defaults. But file properties, let me change that. I'm going to go after an Excel file on our server, our PC server. Press OK. I am now connected to that server. So it's pretty quick there, pretty easy. Next, I want to go out there and actually grab that table. So all you have to do is actually insert it. There's a couple different ways. I right-click the easiest, and then select Database Files. Double-click on the schema there, and there are the different sheets of the Excel spreadsheet. I'm just going to go up to Customers. So we have it. We have all the fields in there. You can quickly change the order of the fields. Maybe I want to list the fields by position in the file there, the table, in the spreadsheet, and there you have it. Next step is to start selecting some of those columns or those fields to be in your view. You can type, which I avoid, but double-click is the quickest and easiest. You can also drag and drop, by the way. And just grab a couple more. So you can see it's pretty easy. Bring them into the view. You don't have to know SQL, and you don't need to be a programmer to do this. Really simple, get an idea what you're going after. I'm going to summarize this a little bit more. So I'm going to get rid of those couple fields, drag and drop, quick and easy way to get rid of them. You can also do a right-click and remove them. Right-click. I'm going to summarize the current balance due. By summarize this, I'm going to group it by the sales region. So I'm kind of curious of the current balance due by region. We define a quick length. Give it a quick header, a column name. It looks nice. And also I'm going to change the default of a number to a currency type so that way I can get the $ sign in front of it. Quick save. I'm going to save in my HK demo library. Give it a name. And press save. All right. So that view has been saved. Let me display it. Quick run of it. And we see that nice summarized data. And if you want, again, you don't need to build a report. You can do some nice stuff in the view level. Let me quickly do a quick total, grand total on the current balance due within this view. I'm going to save it with the definition, this option basically, not the value, but the option with the definition. Resave it, close it. If I go back to my recent tab, you can see it there right there on top. You can also find it within your existing tab. If I go to HK demo library, there it is. Double left click to run it. There's the results coming from my Excel spreadsheet on my PC server. You get the summarization plus the grand total that I added to it. Really, really simple. Another thing you can do, if you have have the power to access all this information, all this remote data, what's a great way to actually to distribute information is through dashboards. But I want to show you something really quickly. This is the administration section, so if you have the authority to do so, you can come into the administration area, maintain the host servers. This is where those connections, by the way, are defined, are set up. You can see on the left-hand side, these are those different servers. As we saw earlier in the drop-down list, the stars are the kind of default, the global values for them, but then all the different connections are defined below. So once you set those up, define them, and create them, you can actually start using them. And you can create different connections for different users, give them different authorities, different access, whatever it is to help control it too. So there's Addison, Cook Corp. So you can see the different driver and connection strings all there for you. And there's the Excel spreadsheet one, which we just showed you. All right. So again, it's really nice, really easy to maintain this way. And again, like I said earlier, it is controlled by the user, so you can actually define what users can use. So there's some security behind it too. As I was saying earlier, a great way to deploy the information is through like dashboards. You have the ability to consolidate data, display it nicely in a dashboard. Here, by the way, what we're seeing right now is just all the different views out there in this library called Remote HQ. So let me go ahead and minimize that. And what I'm going to do, instead of showing you the dashboard through a PC tool, the viewpoint, the SQL software. I'm going to go through the web, through SQL web interface. I'm going to connect it to my Wisdom system. So all those SQL objects that I've been creating, maintaining, you can access them from the PC through Viewpoint and also through the web with SQL web interface. Got a nice secure connection. You can see my object out there. And what we're looking at right now are the recent objects that I've touched within the browser. Listed right there. Makes it really easy to navigate to anything that I just ran recently. You can navigate just like in Viewpoint where you can actually jump to different libraries or different object types. But here's that IS dashboard. SQL dash, that's the type, so it's a dashboard type. Double left click allows me to run it. And it's going to go up and run all the different SQL objects, the different views, and display the most current information from those databases. This is a consolidated database. I went out there and actually grabbed data from different platforms, not just the local I. I have all three there. I have the companies from Able Inc., Baker, and Cook. So quickly I can see the three different companies, the sales, the return, net sales, the consolidated values, all there within a single, really a window within this dashboard. You can also, by the way, set up auto refresh. So you can actually refresh the data if necessary. So if your data is changing quite often, maybe you want to refresh the data every 5, 10, 20 minutes, not a problem. So again, there was consolidated. If I scroll down, you can see the rest of the information. So if it doesn't fit in the window, not a problem. But you can customize these dashboards. We got charts. We have line charts. Nice way to see for the sales for the past 12 months for the 3 different companies out there. With Cook having a nice big spike there back here in November. We have vertical type gauges showing the global sales goal and the current of the value. They're just under 6 million, and then U.S. sales at around 350,000. Nice way to kind of represent the information, and then more additional charts and data down below. Down below, if you notice, we have the comparison between the current year and last year. Some nice bucketing of the data, doing a little side-by-side comparison. Really easily done within Viewpoint, within SQL. These little arrows, if you notice we have a circle with a white arrow, the blue circle with a white arrow, allows you to drill deeper into the data. I can regroup the information. Now I'll come do that here today just because of time here. Let me just regroup it really quickly by department. It actually builds an ad hoc view in the background, displaying the information out broken down by department for each of those 3 companies. Maybe it's a region, maybe it's a location, maybe it's a certain customer type, you name it, but it allows you to spin the data in different ways really quickly. You can add some subtotals on demand, so if the view definition doesn't have it, not a problem. Quickly add it. And there they are. So there's a lot you can do as a user, makes it really easy, really saving the time. You don't have to involve as a programmer or somebody else to create new objects for you. Up on top, by the way, these are action buttons. Now click on a button to get that information on demand. It's a nice way to help clean the dashboard up and let users get additional important information on the fly. You can see we have information for 3 different databases. We have a consolidated report. We can even access information from different locations. You know, maybe it's a website and so forth. Able Inc. Click on that button, and it runs that view, giving the most current information. So it's live data coming back. And then from there, you can do your create charts, subtotals, whatever you want to do, print, email results, save results, just like before, not a problem. And I'll show you just one more really quickly here, the GL Consolidated Report. Again, it's all live data coming back on demand, asking for the most information, most current information out there that you have. And there you can see, initially we have Cook Company up on top with their sales, the period information, etc. If I do a double left click, one way of restoring information, now we see Able Inc. So all the different companies are listed there for you. Just want to quickly show you that. All right, jumping back here to the IS dashboard. Again, those are the last 2 action buttons there, market wash, you know, whatever you want to do. The choice is yours, which is really nice about these dashboards. All right. And then lastly, I want to show you, if I go back to the HK demo library, that's that view that we created earlier, the Excel data. Double left click, again, there's the Excel data, but I'm seeing it through the web. Nothing has to be installed in the PC to do this, to grab it, access the information. Here I selected the data, and I created a quick chart over it. You have chart options. You can change it around, whatever you want to do. So you do have a lot of flexibility for the user to really see the information in different ways that's more meaningful to them. All right. I think at this point here, I'm going to stop sharing here so we can wrap things up. And get back here. Just one last thing I want to talk about here is kind of, recap of what I just just showed you guys. There's a lot of information that I want to show you. I want to show you so much more. But as I said, I got to wrap things up here. But before I give control back to Mike, the times have changed. I have a great quote here from Steve Will, a chief architect for the IBMI. Your IBMI can do everything a PC-based database can do. And that's so true. There's no reason to spend time and invest money in moving the data to a different platform. Even if you have an application that runs on a Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL database, no problem. You can easily access the data and consolidate with DB2 data on the eye with SQL. SQL alleviates the problem of divergent data. When other tools through evolution or design, data is moved to various locations and manipulated differently. You could actually end up with data that's different, results that vary, or information that is simply wrong. Use SQL. It allows a centralized source of data that business users, can access at will, which of course is much more desirable. With the right tools, with the access to the key information, you will have better revenue control. A single solution like SQL will reduce your costs. It will improve efficiencies across your entire organizations. And then last but not least, you will have better management of your assets. Whoops, sorry about that. And SQL allows you the visibility to your data, data that could be, local or remote databases, allowing you to enhance your business processing. Thanks, Mike.
Excellent, Heath. That was great. Thanks for all that great information. And as we saw, SQL allows you to access remote data across several platforms. And with the information that you can access, you'll be able to combine data from multiple tables and databases into one final report. With your knowledge of SQL on the IBMI, you'll find that working with remote databases is no different than working locally on the IBMI. With SQL, you do not need to copy or have another query product out there. You don't need to build a step-by-step manual process. It's one of my pet peeves. I don't like step-by-step manual processes open to human errors. And then you can easily distribute your data. SQL can access local and remote data, seamlessly distribute information as you need it. The key business information is only a click away. How the user needs it, when they need it, delivered right to your doorstep, which is the focus of our session today. Taking the remote data, delivering it to the user seamlessly. And one last slide before we get to the Q&A. Not much time left in the year, but today with SQL, we're offering some pretty good promotional deals that run through the end of the year. So you act now, give us a call for additional information and schedule a time for us to assist with the installation and get you started with accessing the information that your business users need.
Excellent. All right, Mike, I do see we got a good handful of questions. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I'm going to start with the top one right away, and I honestly don't have any idea. It can be just personally it looks. We also use a Maximo database and WMSDB. Not familiar with those, to tell you the truth.
No, me neither. Me neither.
But we'd be glad to work with you to find out if we are able to connect up to those.
A lot of times the answer is yes.
Yeah.
You may need to get a JDBC Type 4 driver from the database provider. You can find those, search for those on the internet, and support could probably help you with those as well. But a lot of times they are accessible with that type of driver. That's kind of the key, I believe.
Absolutely. Next couple of questions here. The first one talks about, can you show us how you put two different sources into one viewpoint, files, and fields? So maybe a SQL user. You want to elaborate on that one there, Mike?
Sure. So how you combine all the information together? Yeah, as Heath was showing in the view with the Excel, you connect to one platform with one view. So whether it's SQL Server, whether it's Oracle, MySQL, DB2, Access, Excel, one view connects to one platform. You make your views. Then if you want to merge or combine the data, it's real easy to do to put that into a script. Okay, script view is really, really, really the best way to do that, I think. So you do a bunch of executes within there, creating work files on one of the platforms, and then you can have a last view that brings all those things together. So the user runs that script view, and then poof, there's all their data, and it's really nice way to deploy and display the information.
Excellent. Yeah, we've got a lot more questions coming in here.
Yep.
I'm gonna run through these questions here, a few more of these questions. I'm going to bring up the next slide here. I do want to answer a lot of these here because I think they're great.
Yeah.
But just in case someone wants to take off here, I want to throw up our information here so they can contact us too.
There's one out here directed, I think, for you. It says, does the business analysis dashboard example that you were showing, does that require SQL Web Server to run?
No. Hey, good catch there, though. Good catch. With SQL Web Interface, for those that are, yeah, Chris, thank you. For those that are not familiar with SQL, with SQL Web Interface, we also have what we call SQL Web Server, just a different way to access information. SQL Web Server allows us to do some more things with client stuff, like client tables, client reports, with pivoting of data. But the business analysis dashboard can be accessed directly through SQL Web Interface as well. So not a problem. Thank you.
Yep.
That was great.
Another one here, is there an add-on fee to connect to remote databases like an SQL Server and Oracle?
And I also see one regarding drivers, so I'm going to answer both those together here. No, not at all. I know some other products do require some additional add-on fees to acquire or to connect up to other platforms or databases, and we do not. In fact, when you install SQL, you install the necessary drivers to connect to those databases, as we talked about here today, plus a few other ones. But then if there are other drivers you can download for some other, I would say, not to be mean, but odd or different databases. I have one on my tip of my tongue here. I can't think of it. But there are true DDC Type 4 drivers out there you can download at no cost, and that's what we use. So there should be a way to connect up, definitely.
Yep.
And again, we install our drivers right away with our product.
Right. So there's no license required
right.
to connect to an Oracle database or an SQL Server or any of that. It's all included.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a matter of making the connection.
Yeah, there's questions regarding what version of Viewpoint I was showing and then what version of SQL and Viewpoint are needed to do the wonderful things here. I am running with the most recent update. It just came out, last week, Mike, or 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
That is needed to be able to access the Excel and Microsoft Access type files and tables like that. The remote capabilities, you can do it with earlier versions, but the newest and latest features with Microsoft Access and Excel, that's in the latest updates. So definitely need to update SQL and Viewpoint to do that, but it works great, as you saw.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not seeing any others here right now. Some may have come to you directly.
Let's see. I am looking at two. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up here at this point.
Okay.
If I missed a question, I'll go through it again. Folks, don't worry. We will follow up with you guys if I miss any questions out there. We'll get it personally. But let's go ahead and wrap things up. I know we've got a few minutes here, so.
Yeah, exactly. And want to value everyone's time here. So we hope that you now have a good feel how SQL can address your business needs with simple and quick installation, and how you can start accessing your data, your remote data, and bring it right to your doorstep. And you'll be able to see how business information is important, and you need it to get it the way you need it. So the solution, very quick ROI with SQL. If you have any further questions or would like to see more on SQL or SQL Web Interface or any of that, give us a call. Email Heath or I. I'm glad to schedule a demo if you haven't seen the product, or if you're new to it or something like that. If you maybe want to see the Web Interface piece, we can do that as well. If you're a SQL user, there's a lot that you can do. So reach out to us and see what we can do. We appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you in future webinars. And this concludes our session today. Deliver remote data to your doorstep with SQL. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Heath. And have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks.